Happy Casual Friday, everybody. And I wanted to give you a few thoughts this week from US-China series. One topic I want to cover is the announcement of the IPO of Didi. A couple of observations. One, I'm trying to work out why Didi decided to do their listing in the United States, given the amount of pressure that is going to exist and continue to exist regarding the potential for delistings of Chinese companies based on the inability primarily for the SEC to do audits of these companies in the mainland. For me, it sounds like an unacceptable risk. And despite the fact that I have made comments over the course of the last 6 months that the wave of Chinese IPOs in the US is over, clearly this is an exception to the rule. And frankly, I think it's an unnecessary risk for a company like Didi to take, given the liquidity and the ease of doing a listing in Hong Kong. Secondly, and I go back to an interview that I did about 4 weeks ago with the founder of Sino Auto Insights, Tu Li, our good friend on everything related to mobility in China, and looking at this company and its ability to be profitable in the years ahead. Look, this is a company that missed the delivery wave in China. As the information quotes today, there are some really quite suspect accounting treatments of ways they deal with revenue. So, for example, Didi at the moment doesn't deduct driver wages when it talks about gross revenue. And if you look at that gross revenue without that embedded expense, that's how they've been able to convince themselves and maybe the market that this is a company worth $100 billion. As the information talks about in today's piece, you should compare it less towards Uber and more towards Lyft. And Lyft has a valuation currently of around $18 billion. Now, I think that's a bit of a push, because I do think the addressable market in China is going to be enormous. Their ability to do joint ventures and acquisitions globally, particularly in countries like Brazil, I think are real. And whilst the path to profitability, I think is going to be a long and winding one. It's comparing it to Lyft, I think, understates the true potential of this company. Is it a company that should be worth $100 billion? I don't think so. $20 billion, probably somewhere in the middle. So I think that in the near term, this lofty valuation metric of $80 to $100 billion, I think is going to come in. And anyone who gets involved in the IPO, if it does price around $80 billion, I think is going to be disappointed. So everyone, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you shortly.